And I see that the young men are just missing that spark. Today, I'm making a video that it's for everyone, but I really want to talk to the young men that are watching. Most of the time, I would say like 90% of the time when I make these videos, it is truly me talking to a younger version of myself, giving that younger version of myself advice and telling him the things that I probably should have heard, but I didn't. And there may have been that advice out there, for sure there was, but for some reason I didn't necessarily listen to it or I didn't apply it. And some of the things I did apply. And today I'm going to talk about what I did apply and what I do know is to be true. And I'm going to read a quote that I found on my computer that I read in a different video, but it applies to this video as well. But the video today is going to talk about hard work and the reason that you can't avoid your struggle. Most people are complicit cowards living in self-imposed prisons built from excuses and comfort. And the truth is, not everyone deserves happiness or success. For the young men out there, you need to stop avoiding your struggle. You need to realize that you are nothing special. You are special in the way that you are because you're different. Everybody is going to be different. But you're nothing special to life's circumstances, life's decisions, life's obstacles and challenges that get thrown at you. When I was from the age, 23, 24 till about maybe 30, I had, for whatever reason, there's multiple reasons, but I had back problems. Okay, my back was constantly hurting, my lower back. There would be some points where I couldn't even go to work, where I couldn't almost move in a sense. My back would lock up. And so I went to the doctor, went to the chiropractor. There wasn't anything serious. It wasn't really a serious problem. It was a serious problem, but it wasn't necessarily a serious problem where I had a dislocated disc or something like that. And so if you do have back problems or something like that, definitely go to the doctor and check it out. But my thing was related to constantly having to be on my feet and wearing dress shoes, switching my shoes constantly, being on my feet 9 to 10 hours a day at some points, and not really exercising, not stretching, not doing just basic things that I should have been doing. And so throughout that time, going to the chiropractor, researching, learning, I figured out that I needed to change my shoes, I needed to exercise, I needed to do certain things that were just better for my back and for my overall well-being, and that would translate to, better things in my life all around. From that point on, I learned that certain phases in your life, you're gonna go through you're gonna go through certain shit, right? You're gonna be stressed out. You're gonna have certain problems that are just in the moment and they may last for a little while, but they eventually work themselves out if you are willing to work on them. I kept trying to figure out the solution to this problem. And the solution was changing my shoes, changing how long I stood for the day. I would then more often sit down and try to give my feet a break, try to give my back a break. I would work on my posture. I'd work on stretching. I'd work on, staying fit. And ever since that point, I've constantly made it like a routine that I have to stay fit. I have to constantly stretch. I have to keep, my physique in the way that I want to, in the way that my body needs it to, if I don't want to have back problems, if I don't want to have knee problems and certain things like that, which now I have some knee pain. Again, learning the things that I've learned while I was in my 20s, going through my back pain, I've learned that now when I have knee pain, it's a certain phase in life. I'll eventually get to the recipe that is going to solve that. And this translates all throughout your life. You need to go through certain things. You need to understand that you're going to have challenges. You can't shy away from them. You can't escape them. You need to go through those challenges, get through them. You need to seriously take life by the balls and deal with your shit. You can't avoid your struggle. You must be willing to make sacrifices. You must be willing to work hard and do things. And that is one of the other things as well. It's like working hard. I see that constantly. It's not necessarily your fault. I blame the internet and the gurus and all these idiots online that are trying to convince you that the minute you have any sort of job, that the minute that you do anything that is outside of creating content, selling a course, and having cars, and having money, and having girls, that you are living life wrong, that you're trapped in the matrix. You are not trapped in the matrix, okay? The matrix exists for people that believe that the matrix exists. You are not like trapped in anything. If you don't like your job, you can change it. If you don't like your relationship, you can change it. If you don't like where you live, you can change it. You have the ability to change whatever you want. We truly live in the greatest time ever known to mankind. We have the best technology in the world, okay? We have like so many advancements. Anyways, none of that is an excuse why you can't do something. So don't think that you're living in the matrix by having a job. I've been working since I can remember, okay? We came here in '97. My father has always, and my mother, they've always had like janitorial jobs where they had to clean or work, do hard labor work. When I was, I don't even know, 9, 10, my father had like 6 buildings that he was taking care of at the time. And over the weekend, we would all gather up as a family, go there and clean. We would do stuff. We have to like, do maintenance work. And going to school, you feel embarrassed. You feel shy to know and to tell your friends like, all the other kids during the weekend, they got to do fun things with their family. They went somewhere, they went to the beach and that stuff. And you had to go and clean and do work. Now, I'm not saying that my childhood was all doom and gloom and we didn't have fun. We had fun. I'm talking about those weekends though that we didn't, that we had to go and clean and do stuff. Another thing I'll talk about in a video that just reminded me is about childhood, but I'll talk about that in another video. Throughout my whole life, I've constantly worked. And then going to my teenage years, I've been working, in places where you actually get a paper paycheck and you're not just paid in cash. And from then on, I've just been constantly working. And now what I'm seeing in the young men is that they don't want to work. They don't want to go and work in trades. While when I was in my 20s, I wanted to go work in the trades. I was gonna go get my engineering license. I was gonna go get my electrical license. And I wanted to work in the trades. Those jobs cannot be replaced by a robot. They won't. By AI, they will not be replaced, okay? I do not care what they tell you online. Those jobs will not be replaced. If they were to be replaced, they already would have been replaced. They already would have been. Because what happened in the car industry, the reason that people got replaced in factories by machines is because a person stood next to a person in a line and did this, and then the conveyor belt moved, and then they did this again, and this again. It was just a repetitive thing. Those people got replaced by a machine that could just go and do that. But the people that are not just doing this all day, but they're doing like a million different things, are not going to get replaced. A plumber, an electrician, a carpenter, an architect. These people that are doing millions of things that require human intervention like 99% of the time, okay? Those jobs will not get replaced. Anyways, at the time, I was gonna go and work as an electrician, as a building engineer. This is the things that I wanted to do because I knew that hard work and building things and doing stuff and actually like having that grit, it's not just about like the labor intensive work that gives you grit, but it's about the strive, the wanting to work to earn your living, the wanting to like deserve and wanting to make your living, and then take that and put it into something else, watch your money grow and do this type of cycle life, do this and play this game of life is so fascinating to me. And it's always been fascinating to me. And I'm so like surprised that a lot of men are not, like the younger men are not fascinated by that. And I don't know why. And I think that the internet and the shortcuts and the courses and the get rich quick schemes are taking away from men. They're taking away that joy of life, that game of life, that, constant like hustle and bustle that you see. People online are saying like, oh, if you want to get to a certain point in success, you're not going to get it through hustling, and you got to have systems. You have to have everything. Any single video that they're out there, they're all true. The systems, the hustle, the grit, the grind, not the grind, the relaxing, the making a business, doing this. You have to have all of that combined into one. You have to be willing to like go through all of that shit. You have to have balls, man. You have to have like this wanting for the game of life. And so if you don't have that wanting, that yearning for the game of life, that hard work, you're not going to achieve anything that those videos tell you. You won't achieve anything that I'm telling you either. If you don't have that like idea that I want certain things out of my life, and I see that if I do this, I get this. I see that if I work hard, I learned this, I get a paycheck, I can go and take my money and I can do whatever I want with it. I see that from this mistake, I was able to learn this, and now I'm able to go and do this. Where the heck's my water? I'll be right back. And I see that the young men are just missing that spark. Why is it that certain men do have the spark, but then certain ones don't? Are they babied too much? Are they like spoiled? Do they just don't have that yearning for life, the yearning for the game, the hunt in a sense? Brings me to that point when I say the hunt, it's like it's engraved in us as men. There is a hunt. It's engraved in us because you are the person that goes out and hunts for the food. You hunt for the opportunity. You hunt and you discover places. You go beyond the point where the tribe never went before. You discover new places. You push yourself. You go out there. You have this fear, but you go and you do it anyways. No matter how many videos you watch, you're going to unlock all of these things by pushing yourself, by truly going internally and figuring out, why am I not this way? What do I want out of life? And figuring out that the game of life is something so magical, so precious, so amazing that you want to go out and achieve the things that you want in your life. And you should want that. You should want to go out and challenge yourself. I'm challenging myself every day by making videos. It's not the most comfortable thing. Now it is. I'm comfortable doing it. But I'm pretty sure you're watching me thinking like, who's this guy? Or maybe you know me, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter, because the thing is that I'm overcoming obstacles while you're not. But I want you to overcome obstacles too. I want you to go out and challenge yourself and to do things. It doesn't have to be things like this. It can be a million different things. I don't even have to give you examples, because you can just go online and look at a million different examples. But you've got to have the balls to go out and play the game of life. You must go out and do things in your life. You must have that grit. You must develop the grit. You have to go out and work hard, especially for the men. For some reason, I am that person that I can tell a lot about a man when I shake his hand. And if I shake your hand and it is not tough, it is not stern, it doesn't have a firm grip to it, I will just assume and I will judge you that you are a weak man. That's just the way that I am. You should be that way too. You should want to go out and have that tough handshake. It's not about the actual strength. The handshake is not about the strength, but the handshake is the energy that you transfer on to the next person. The energy that you transfer on to a girl the first time you meet her. It is about your, like, how you radiate, your aura. It's your energy, it's the vibe, it's the thing that you push out. It's how you radiate when you come into a room full of people. And that's how you're going to develop that, is by going through shit, by overcoming obstacles, challenges, developing yourself, developing confidence in yourself, in your handshake, in how you do and how you walk, how you present yourself, the things that you say, the things that you're about, the things that you've experienced, the criticism and the feedback that you can take, okay? So all of these things come through. All of these things are part of your development and the things that you just have to learn when you play the game of life. And I hope you go out and play the game of life. Peace.